Welcome to the Intuitive Hour with psychic medium, author, and intuitive life coach, Michelle Beltran. The Intuitive Hour will empower you to learn how to magnify your intuitive voice. Listen in and expand your understanding of what it means to be psychic and how to awaken, amplify, and trust your inner voice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Intuitive Hour, Awaken Your Inner Voice. I'm your host, Michelle Beltran. Welcome. Today, we're talking about that gut sense that you have. A sense that someone's going to call, for example, or knock at your front door. That you'll run into a long-lost friend. You have a sense about them. You don't know why or how you have that sense. You just have it. Sometimes this is called women's intuition. Many of us know it as a gut sense. The formal term for this, however, is called claircognizance, and it means clear knowing. So this ability, rooted in our seventh chakra at the top of our head, it's in violet in color. Perhaps go there now. Imagine the space at the top of your head, that crown chakra. It assists us with our sense of knowingness and spirituality. It supports us in receiving clear information about that gut sense. This chakra offers us an opportunity to just know things without having to access our logical left brain or our intellectual self. Okay, so let's begin opening this psychic gift together. Take a moment now to see this vibrant, violet colored chakra spinning with vivacious life force in a clockwise direction. Imagine it alive and well, opening up, ready to assist you. As you begin to work with this chakra more and more, in time, you will begin to feel it. You might feel it now as you place your consciousness in this area with me. As we do this, notice any sensations that are happening in this space. Focus here and begin to tune into this chakra. Let your attention and your intention be present in this space for a few moments. This simple act is telling your higher self you are ready to open this ability fully. All right. How do we recognize claircognizance? If you're mainly claircognizant, then there are certain things that you'll say. So you'll want to pay attention to how you speak in your language about things. This is very telling. So here are a few examples of how you might tell the difference between claircognizant language, our sense of clear knowing, versus clairaudience language, which is our ability to clear hear. So if you find yourself saying, I just knew you were going to do that, as compared to, I hear what you're saying about that, then you're likely claircognizant. You might say, I just know she's going to do well on that project, as compared to, I'm hearing you say that she will do well on this project. So in the former, you're using words like knew and had a sense. If you speak with words that mainly use I know or I knew or something similar, then your lean would be towards claircognizant ability. Remember, though, that you may have 2 clair abilities or more that are open for you. So you may use different language as well. We can have more than one clair ability at work. It's very common. Just simply begin to pay attention to your language to tell you which. All right, discerning claircognizance information, gut sense or gut knowing information from your own thoughts. A really good question I'm often asked. Okay, so claircognizance is different than a thought. As your logical left brain is in motion and thinks, your conscious mind is doing the work. Your conscious mind and thoughts are one. You might find yourself overtaken by this. An example would be maybe you're organizing an event and all the surrounding details that you plan to attend and who's attending. This kind of event, you are in logical left brain thinking. This is conscious thought, and again, you are one with it. In turn, when you're receiving clear knowing information from your 7th chakra, your all-knowing consciousness is at work. So in this space, you are an active observer of what is presenting. In much the same way, you observe floating in and out of information as we sat a few moments together in a brief meditation. You were an observer. You were an allower. And you weren't actively engaged in planning as you would be an event. The two feelings are similar, but there is a subtle difference. When you're in your logical left brain, you're planning, you're present, you're engaged. When you're in your clear knowing, clear cognizance space, you're allowing, you're observing, you're connecting with your higher self. There's an essence of ease. In order to enhance your claircognizance, focus on seeing yourself separate from anything that comes in as it does. When you have a feeling you're receiving something of a higher essence, a claircognizance knowing, watch it, observe it, and resist the temptation to interpret. Just look from the outside in. Again, be the observer and allow. Messages of claircognizant inspiration come from nowhere. They're spontaneous, and they very often have little to do with what you're thinking about in any given moment. They naturally just drop in, gently, unexpectedly, unencumbered by your left brain thinking linear ego mind. Remember that claircognizant information and insight is of a high vibration frequency, and it will transcend ego. If you notice low vibration thoughts of fear, worry, doubt, or even self-sabotage as you tune in to this ability, you are not connected with your clear knowing gift. That is more likely remnants of ego. All right, so how this psychic gift of claircognizance will present to you. So claircognizant messages may come in many ways, actually. They'll come in inspired ideas, in dreams, through automatic writing while drawing or playing a musical instrument. Often, these messages present while in meditation or while giving or receiving intuitive or psychic readings. So to be even more specific, they will present in one of two ways. Messages from your claircognizance ability, as you know, will present like a gut feeling or a gut sense. This means that you sense you know something, yet you just don't know how. In these very moments, when a gut feeling has dropped in for you, and it will feel like that, a dropping in, a subtle dropping in, then you are consciously aware of messages. You're consciously knowing, oh, I think I'm getting a sense of something, a gut feeling, and you're very aware of it. The second way this will come is unconscious. So speakers and authors and artists naturally use this gift of claircognizance while in the depths of creating. That's how it will unconsciously come. In a space like this, you're not necessarily aware of it, feeling the sense. Rather, it's just coming in through one of these other means. This can also happen in meditation. So again, as a repeat here, the claircognizance message will come conscious or unconsciously. All right, so you may find that you consciously or unconsciously tap into the divine mind for psychic messages, creativity, and inspiration. Both ways are just fine. You know you're experiencing claircognizant insight because the information will feel like an idea has come from a higher consciousness. You might also then notice a feeling of being compelled to put that inspiration into fruition by taking action. All right, so let's practice this together now. I want to ask you to take a moment to consider your past few days where messages of knowing from your claircognizance may have tried to present to you. Let that memory come in now. You don't need to go look for it, don't search for it, just let it find you. Did you have a feeling someone you had not seen for some time would call and did? Did you find yourself saying, I knew it, surrounding an event or interaction with a person, friend, or family member? Perhaps there was an inner knowing about a decision that you made that was absolutely right? Did the perfect words or artistic creation come to you at just the right moment with a feeling of exuberance or excitement. Possibly out of nowhere, what seemed like an inspired idea came to you and resolved a particular issue of importance. So as you consider that sense of knowing you had, whatever it was about this event or person that you are recalling now with me, did you know this consciously or subconsciously? Consider that for a moment. And consider other similar experiences so that you can discover in which way you are most often receiving this sense of knowing. Remember, both ways are fine. All right, moving on, let's talk about an exercise, very powerful exercise that will support you in opening this claircognizance ability even further. Just a 5-step exercise I'd like to ask you to enjoy with me now for a few moments. The first thing will be to find a quiet place to sit and relax. This is a brief meditation we'll do together. It is done best by sitting in an upright, seated position with your bare feet on the ground. Take several deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Quiet your mind. Let all the left brain mind chatter, the to-dos of the day, set them aside. You'll get back to all of that as you're ready and when we are complete. Now bring your attention to the thoughts in your mind. For a few moments, just mentally list each thought. Notice it. Become aware of it. Notice how thoughts arise and subside. See if you can notice where these thoughts are arising from. And perhaps you'll notice where they go. See if you can become aware that this entire process seems to take place on its own accord, without you having to do anything. Return your attention to your breath. Breathe in and breathe out as you notice these thoughts. For the next part of this meditation, I want to ask you to just come from a place of seeing or sensing that your thinking process is taking place naturally of its own accord and not inside your head. You have access to all the information in the universe. Though your own brain is designed to filter and limit what you are aware of in that universal repertoire, you do have access to it. All that is, all that was, and all that ever will be. You have access to it. Since this is the case, you can learn to expand what your brain can bring to your own personal awareness very naturally. Now, with your eyes open and your journal handy, place your awareness on tomorrow. Intend to access information about tomorrow. As you listen to my words, let your eyes remain open. Don't attempt to focus on anything in particular. Just be open to whatever you are now seeing without analyzing it. Just let it flow. Take several breaths in slowly and exhale slowly with it. With each exhale, send the intention to be open to access any information about tomorrow. Now, become still and notice the thoughts in your mind. Write down all the impressions, images, pictures, or any other sensory data or information that comes into your awareness in this moment as you think about tomorrow. Let this process happen for a few minutes, noticing impressions. Write and release everything, even things that may strike you as silly. Everything matters. Everything coming in has a reason behind it. Write these down. Don't worry if information you're receiving, thoughts or impressions, seem fanciful or don't make sense. Write them down. Filter out any thoughts that arise about things you already know that involve tomorrow, such as the appointment you might have. Write that down and move beyond it. Focus on information that isn't related to what your mind has already stored for about tomorrow's events. Next, complete what you're writing and set your journal down. Once more, later today, go back to your journal in this exercise and repeat it on your own. Again, writing down the impressions you get about tomorrow. All right. Your work now, at the end of your day, tomorrow evening, go back to your journal and notice whether any information you wrote down actually happened, came into your awareness, or otherwise became significant in some way. For example, you might find that you thought of your friend Judy, and then Judy called the next day. Perhaps you saw the image of a fire and the next day you saw a news story about a forest fire. In your journal, highlight or make notes about any of these things you wrote down the day prior that happened or became significant. Doing this work regularly will begin to train your mind to work with the infinitive or infinite information, the all-knowing information that is in the mental realm, that exists everywhere, and to which you always have access to tap into. All right, everyone, as we come to a close, I would like to leave you with one final exercise to support you in opening this gut sense ability. I would like to ask you to consider 1 or 2 days this week to begin paying attention to the little daydreams that you find yourself falling into. Daydreams are, in fact, a very useful and powerful tool to help us enhance this ability. Intuitive growth can be significantly enhanced through this daydream space. You will learn quickly that often the information coming through during a daydream can be relevant guidance for yourself, someone you will be seeing in the near future regarding world events, or even spiritual or other kinds of questions that you have been thinking about finding resolve with. Daydreams happen when the conscious mind lets go for a little while because it is engaged in something useful. That's why so often a daydream will occur right in the middle of doing a work project, driving, or doing something else where your focus is maintained for a while. So set the intention in the morning of doing this exercise to be aware when you fall into a daydream, and then pay attention to the subject matter. Write down some notes and see what the daydreams meant for you. Was it about you, a future event, a friend, a client, a visit? Was it about an issue in your immediate family, a relationship? Did it appear to make no sense at all? Sometimes something that means no sense at all actually does make sense, and we do want to listen. All right, with that, everyone, we will bring this episode to a close. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. You know that if you have any questions or comments or topic matters you would like to learn about, you can share that with me at mbeltran@michellebeltran.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining me in today's episode, and I look forward to meeting with you all again.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Intuitive Hour, please consider following, rating, and reviewing the podcast at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. You're welcome to access Michelle's free controlled remote viewing exercise that will empower you to uncover answers to your burning questions about lost objects, events, or people in the past, present, or future. Visit MichelleBeltran.com to access this free offering and rediscover what was once lost.